Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the universe is running on a kind of spiritual operating system? That the laws of physics aren't just about describing rocks and planets, but they're actually deep metaphors for the state of our own souls? It's a wild idea, so let's dive right in. We're going to explore this really incredible model that completely reimagines physics through a Quranic lens. And it kicks off with a massive question. What if Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein, without ever realizing it, actually described the two fundamental paths a soul can take? Just think about that for a second. On one side, you've got Newton's law of force, F equals ma. This model sees that as the physics of pride, a world of separate things, always pushing and pulling, competing against each other. But then, you've got Einstein's law of light, E equals mc squared. And this isn't about force at all. It's about revelation. It points to a state of being that's governed by mercy, a unified reality where you see that all matter is really just condensed divine light. So yeah, these aren't just equations on a blackboard. In this framework, they describe two totally different spiritual paths, two opposite ways of being. Let's break down the first one. So, this path of force, F equals m times a, is called the physics of Iblis. In the Quran, Iblis is the ultimate symbol of pride. This state of being is all about the ego, specifically what's called the nafs al-amara. You can think of it as the commanding self. It's that voice inside that's always demanding more, always chasing things. It's a purely reactive existence, constantly accelerating towards some external desire, which only ends up pulling us further apart. And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures that whole mindset. When Iblis refused to bow to Adam, this was his argument: I am better than him. It's a judgment based entirely on outside appearances, fire versus clay. It's all about using force based on what you think makes you superior, and it completely ignores the intrinsic, divine value inside of creation. Now, in complete contrast, we have the path of light, E equals mc squared, the physics of Ahmed. Ahmed, which means the most praised, is another name for the Prophet Muhammad. See, the state isn't about applying force from the outside. It's about revealing an energy that's already on the inside. This is the Rooh al-Qudus, the Holy Spirit, a kind of divine consciousness that this model says is hidden within every bit of mass, inside all of creation, just waiting to be seen. Okay, so here's the crucial link to the equation. In this way of looking at things, the divine command be, or kun in Arabic, that is the constant c. It's the speed of truth, the speed at which reality itself springs into being. And mass, m, is simply the condensed echo of that command. So all of existence is just a vibration of that original be. So the big question is, how does a soul make the journey from one state to the other? This table kind of lays it all out. You start in local motion, which is governed by force and leads to separation. The goal is global truth, governed by light, leading to unity. And the bridge between them? It's this incredible universal law that physicists call the principle of least action, which this model reframes as a kind of divine cosmic optimization. This principle is the absolute core of the entire model. Seriously, you can think of it like the universe's engine, a divine optimization that makes sure everything, from how a river flows to how a soul finds its way home, follows the path of least resistance and greatest efficiency. In the Quran, this is called al-mizan, or the divine balance. It basically says the universe runs on perfect efficiency. It always follows the path of least wasted potential. It's so simple, right? A river naturally flows downhill because that's the path of least resistance. Well, in the same way, a soul is naturally drawn back to its pure original state. That's the path of least spiritual friction. And truth itself follows this law, collapsing illusion, because illusion is just messy and inefficient. And this isn't just some neat scientific idea, it's deeply spiritual. The Quran says that God himself imposed the balance on all of creation. It's a cosmic law that we're meant to live in harmony with. It's this balance that makes the shift from a world of force to a world of light even possible. Now, what's so powerful about this is how this huge cosmic model applies directly to us, to the individual human soul. And the key to unlocking it all is understanding the true spiritual meaning of that little constant, C.
So in physics, c is the speed of light, right? It's the ultimate speed limit in the universe. But in this model, that physical constant has a spiritual twin. The speed of light is really the speed of truth. And what's the fastest way to get in sync with truth? Absolute surrender. The Arabic word for that state of surrender is Islam.
So why is it C squared? Well, the model suggests that this submission has two crucial parts. The first C represents pure knowledge. This is embodied by the prophet Isa, or Jesus, who was called a word from Allah. The second C stands for perfect action, and this is embodied by the prophet Muhammad, the ultimate example of putting that knowledge into practice. So when you bring together true knowledge and perfected action, when you multiply them, you get an exponential result, C squared, a state of perfect light.
And this perfect light, this Ahmed light, it's not something you have to go out and find. The model says it's the divine spark we were all born with. It's called the fitra. You can think of it like your soul's factory settings, a deep primordial memory of our divine origin that's inside every single one of us. The source of this inner light goes way back to what the Quran calls the primordial covenant. Before creation as we know it, all souls were gathered, and God asked them, "Am I not your Lord?" And every soul replied, "Yes." That yes, that's the Ahmed light. It's the memory of that oneness embedded right into our very being.
So we finally arrive at the ultimate spiritual equation. Your spiritual energy equals your mass, which here means your deeds, your actions in the world, multiplied by submission squared. When your actions are perfectly aligned with knowledge and surrender, your soul is literally transformed. It becomes weightless, a being of pure light, no longer dragged down by the heaviness of the ego.
And the most beautiful expression of this reality is in the Quran's famous verse of light. It describes God as the light of existence itself, a light upon light. It's the ultimate statement that the universe at its core isn't really made of force and matter, but of pure, unified, conscious light. When you boil it all down, this whole model presents us with a fundamental choice. The journey of life isn't about getting better at applying force to the world around us. It's about learning to let go of the ego's illusions so we can uncover the brilliant light that we already are. So the question it leaves us with is a deeply personal one. Are you living in a state of reaction, defined by pride and separation? Or are you trying to find that path of least spiritual friction, allowing your soul to remember where it came from and return to its natural state as a being of light?